Everyone can please take a seat so we can begin. Welcome. My name is Jim Petrus, and on behalf of the members of the Granby Lions Club, we'd like to welcome you to this meet and greet the candidates for office in the upcoming town election. We feel the candidate event is a great way to engage our community around the upcoming May 20th election day. We feel that our Lions Club, not-for-profit, nonpartisan service group rooted in Granby, is well positioned to sponsor this evening's event and increase public understanding of the election process and the candidates running for the various offices in our community. The format is simple. Candidates have been asked to speak for up to 3 minutes about the position they are seeking. You will then have the opportunity to talk with them further after all the speeches are complete over some cookies or lemonade or some water. If the candidate could not attend this evening, they were asked to send along a statement to be read in their absence. Before we begin, I would ask you to maybe please silence your cell phones if they've come with you this evening. Also, I'd like to give a thank you to the school department for helping us use this space this evening, and to Gcam for recording the event this evening. Before we begin, I'd like to have Dave Cody, our King Lion President, Lions Club, come up and say a few words about our club.
Great opportunity to see everybody tonight. I'm new to town about 4 years ago, so I can honestly tell you that joining the Lions Club was a great experience for me so far. Got a chance to meet my new neighbors and also do some community service projects, which have been very rewarding to us in the community. So I want to thank you guys for having me join the club. It's been great. Just so people don't know about the Lions Club, here in Granby, your club was formed over 70 years ago. Okay, so that's been a long-standing tradition in this town. They've done a lot of things for the town over the years. And the Lions Club itself, which I didn't know till I joined, is part of a larger worldwide organization. In fact, the largest nonprofit organization in the world for service. And we do things both in the United States and globally. So it's a great organization. You'll learn a lot more once you join it. And also tonight we'll be recruiting. So I'll be going around getting letters from everybody, all right? One of the key things I want to bring up tonight, if you don't know, so you can also maybe help you or your family. Lions Club, over the years, vision has been their biggest community service project, than many other things I'll mention, but I just want to focus tonight on the eye research. We have poured millions of dollars into eye research over the years and have come up with some amazing new technologies. And a lot of it's out of Boston. So, and that is available to anybody's community. If you were to have yourself or a child or somebody you know that has an eye issue that can't be resolved locally, we make a phone call to these people. We poured so much money into research that they pick up the phone and we get people out there. I know in our club, I've heard stories of people contacting us, and within a week they're out in Boston getting what they need done for their eyes. People have eye injuries. So please reach out if you know anybody that needs help. One of the things that came out of the technology is a camera technology for doing young children. One of our key things this year is going to be to go all the preschools in the area. The other clubs do the same thing, and it's a little camera that got developed that the kids look into, and it'll do like I think 7 to 8 different tests on the eyes. So we catch them at preschool. If there's any issues with their eyes, we want to catch it early because a lot of people can't afford to do that. They can't afford the technology. So we're bringing that this spring. We're going to do all the preschools in the area, and it's also available to the public schools if they're interested. So we'll be reaching out. We've already reached out to the preschools, and we'll reach out to the schools and want to utilize that technology that's available to us and free to the community. So just to let you know that if anybody's got a need for that, then we'll be doing that service too. Over the last 7 years, I've lot to support the community. I know that the guys over the years and ladies over the years done a lot of things in town to help things, but I just want to mention some of the key ones. Scholarships, for instance, Jim has been very involved. We do a couple scholarships every year, so if anybody is a high school student that's graduating, so far we've gotten 14 applications, I think, and we'll be screening those. We do 2 scholarships every year, and they've done that for the life of the club, right, George? Right? Yeah, so that's just a great thing they do for the community. The other one is not as well known as I want it to be, so tonight's a good chance to tell you. The Groundhog Fund, we do a fuel assistance program, and it's if someone in the community is in need of oil to keep themselves warm, okay? We don't want anybody here, without heat, or hot water or whatever they need. So I think it's 50 gallons, Jim, is that correct? We'll send 50 gallons of oil over an emergency basis to anybody who needs that to keep them heated, okay? So if you know anybody, okay, just please reach out to us with that. We've also let other people know in the community that might get calls on that. So those are a couple things. This year, a couple of our focus areas are the Historical Society. We're gonna do some painting projects for them. And another big one is the Granby Legion. Their kitchen was shut down because their ventilation didn't meet up to code, which happens to a lot of restaurants lately. And it's more than they can afford to do. So we've taken on a community service project to rebuild the kitchen. Because that hall is a valuable asset not only to the Legion, but also to the people in the community. It's the only private hall you can rent in this area. And so we want to get it back to running at full speed so that I know the local youth groups utilize it. We utilize it for our meetings. It'd be great to have that up there again. And then the veterans can make some money. And I've got deals with the veterans have done for this country, so we can give them something back. Those are the kind of things we like to do. So if you're interested in joining a club, reach out to any one of us in the purple shirts. We stand out, I think, right? And once again, I just want to thank you for coming tonight. Hopefully you find this evening enjoyable and informative. Okay, so on to our candidates.
Next, we've asked Kathy Kelly Regan, our town clerk, to come up, say a few words about the upcoming election and town meeting. Kathy?
All right, so for those that don't know who I am, I'm Kathy Kelly Regan. I've been town clerk since 1996. So
Use the mic, Kathy.
Huh? Can't hear? Now can you hear? Okay. All right, so what I'd like to do first is to thank Jim, Dave, and the Lions Club for hosting this. We're really looking forward to hearing from the candidates, and this is a great opportunity, so thank you very much. So I just want to go over a couple things. I won't talk too long, but one, for those that are not registered to vote, if anybody in here isn't registered to vote, Friday is the last day to register to be able to vote in the May 20th town election and also on the May 13th annual town meeting. I do have some voter registration forms over there. If there's somebody at home or somebody you know that might want to register to vote, they can do it online as well, but go into our website, granby-ma.gov, and go to the town clerk department and click on voter registration. It brings you right to the site of the Commonwealth, and you can register online as long as you have a valid ID or driver's license. So obviously we know Monday, May 13th is the first half of the annual town meeting. That's here at the East Meadow School in the gymnasium. Meeting starts at 7. Check-in can start as early as 6:15. Monday, May 20th, Gymnasium High School. Polling hours have changed. They changed for this one from noontime to 7. And the reason of that is back in January, every voter in town got one of these. So if you mailed back one of these postcards and checked off all elections for 2024, you've already probably received your ballot in the mail. Okay, over 850 ballots went out already. So it was determined that 12 to 7 hours was plenty of time to get to the polls when ballots have been mailed out to the voters. Now, I stress that if you're mailing your ballots back, that you actually take advantage of the drop box up by my office, because the United States Postal Service will take about 4 to 5 days if you mail your ballot back. So if you mail your ballot back on May 16th because you were waiting to see what you wanted to do, it's a good possibility I won't get it back by May 20th by 8 p.m. So there's a ballot box, double lock, camera on it. I would suggest to bring your ballots there if you're doing it by mail. If you're wondering why you didn't get a ballot and you thought you would, call my office. You might have not checked all elections. So you can still, if you want to do it by mail, I can accept an application up to May 13th. I can't mail anything out after May 13th because, again, that's 5 business days, because it takes that long for the process to mail to you and you mail back. There are applications over there as well if you want to do your ballot by mail. Another thing that you might have gotten was another postcard if you do not answer your census. 1 time, 2 times, you get this on the 3rd time. It tells me whether or not, if you don't mail it back, it tells me whether or not you're a resident in town anymore. So you're made inactive. That doesn't take your voting right away. You can still vote, but you're gonna have to go through paperwork and show identification at the polls before we're gonna allow you to vote. So if you got one of these little cards and you still have it, please mail it, or just call my office and we'll update your voter status over the phone so there's no problems at the polls. I think, okay, and then the ballot. We want to make sure everybody fills in the circle next to the candidate they want to vote for with a nice little circle like playing Keno. We don't want X's, we don't want check marks, we don't want the circle being circled. So please just fill in the little circle nicely next to who you want to vote for. If there's a write-in, and there's several people that are going to be write-ins for certain positions, if you want to write that individual in, next to where the space says write-in, that's where you would write their name. If you know their address, that's great, but as long as we know your intent is to write in Mary Poppins, then that's where you're going to write in, and then fill in the oval as well. If you don't want to do any write-ins, please skip over it. Please don't color, just skip over it. And I think that's pretty much it. If you make a mistake on your ballot, if you're at the polls, you just ask one of the election workers to, I made a mistake, we write spoil on that, we give you another one. If you make a mistake again, we write spoil on that and give you another one. But if you make a mistake on the 3rd time, unfortunately, if we go with that one, and we'll maybe have to hand count it if it's that bad of a mistake. Same with mail-ins. If you make a mistake on your mail-in ballot, call my office. I will document that this has been a spoiled ballot. I'll mail you a new one. The worst thing is when somebody mails in something and now when it's time to start processing the ballots, you know, they circled one thing and then they crossed it off and did another thing. I don't know what your intent is. So then that's not going to be counted. So if you make a mistake, don't feel bad. Call and we'll get you another ballot. I think that's pretty much it. We want to get on with the candidates, and I thank you very much, and have a good night.
Ready to go? I would also ask now, I know we've applauded for 2 people, that we would hold off applause for the candidates until everyone is done, then we can do a round of applause for all the people running for office. First, we start with the select board. There are 4 candidates running for the select board office. The incumbent is not running, so they are listed on the ballot in alphabetical order. And first this evening, from East State Street is John Arquette. John?
Sorry, I came prepared with some notes and stuff. So first on, you guys probably have seen candidate the signs around town with my name.
Jack, here's the
On the
mic.
microphone, okay. Sometimes I have a loud enough voice, but I go by Jack. If you call me John, I may act like I don't even hear you because nobody calls me John. It's just a given name. My nickname is Jack, or that's what I go by. So just a little bit about me. I moved to Granby about 4 years ago, but I've lived in the neighboring town of Belchertown for almost 20 years. I've been very involved in the town of Granby during your Charter Days events for almost that entire 20 years that I lived in Belchertown. It's a lot of fun for me. I made a lot of connections. I made a lot of good friends, and I maintain those. And all that time, I really fell in love with what Granby is. It's a small community where everyone knows each other, and it's just embodies wholeness, and I love that. That's the reason why my daughter and I chose to make Granby our home 4 years ago. Also over the years, I've been listening to my friends in town, talking about how things are run, how things can sometimes be a little bit difficult, and how they want change. So You know, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and I had parents and grandparents that were very politically active, and they always told me, if you want the change to happen, be it. I'm at a point in my life right now where I have the energy, the time, and determination to commit to this position. This position is going to be involving asking a lot of hard questions. You know, we're faced right now for almost the past 10 years, our finance committee has been telling us that we're spending more than we're taking in taxes. I don't know about you guys, but if I budget my house that way, budget my household that way, I'm not gonna have a home in a few years. So there's things there's things that need to be addressed with that. And that's where part of my campaign platform comes in about the transparency. Transparency is huge. Everyone in here should wanna know what's going on with their town finances. You live here, you know, if the town goes defunct because of the fact that, we can't pay our bills, it gets pretty difficult. The other thing that I'm running on is the fact, you know, I want to bring integrity to this position too. And integrity is going to involve communication. I'm a very approachable person. One of the biggest things that I like to do is also open up just basic office hours over at the library, for example. And pardon me, I can get up and talk in front of people all day long without an issue. When it's something that I'm not teaching, I get a little nervous, so please bear with me. So I want people to know that I'm approachable. I want people in town to be asking questions, because you know what, you should be. You know, and getting back to the finances a little bit, you know, I guess I should talk a little bit about what I can bring to the table. I have 30 years of experience in both the insurance industry and public service entities, fire service, law enforcement, EMS, and the company that I am working for now picked me up because of those services that I've been involved with over these 30 years. Now I'm working. What we do is we contract with cities, towns, and state governments throughout New England and help them obtain their regulatory compliance, whether it be through maintaining OSHA standards, helping them navigate. And anything basic as writing some small bylaws. You know, they'll send them to us for review and such. I have a lot of experience in writing grants. One of the other things I'm involved with is the Shriners. I'm a Shriner. Any of you who don't know what Shriners do, we basically support and fund the Shriners hospitals for children. And not stumping for them, but I've written several grants that have helped us get money through them, you know, and for them. This is something that is important. Okay, I'm being told my time's just about up, so I guess that's all I have to say. In, you know, following Kathy Kelly Regan, show up and vote. Your voice matters. You know, if you want to change, make it. That's what I live by. That's why I'm here.
John?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next for selectman is David Levant.
Hello, I am David Levanti, and I'm pleased to have the nominations to run for Select Board. I've been in Granby for over 17 years. My wife and I built our home here. We are raising our family here. We love this town. However, I have heard the frustration. I see the challenges facing the town. I recognize missed opportunities, and I decided it was time to try and help. I have over 35 years' experience in the field of construction. I have a vast understanding of building and building codes. My background can only help the Select Board in making decisions for the approved West Street School project and converting it into town offices. My project management experience will allow me to navigate situations and help create solutions. I promise to listen to all sides of a situation before making any decisions. I will do what is best for taxpayers of Granby and long-term decisions. I will never go along with the crowd unless it is warranted. I will do my research. I believe we need a grant writer. Maybe Jack could help us with that if I make the seat. This endeavor I will continue to support. This is an untapped opportunity that I think we should really take advantage of. I'm a firm believer in transparency. The committees within the town need to communicate and make processes less complicated for people in town. Each committee seems to work in isolation, which benefits no one. We need less roadblocks and more information on processes, what committees do and how they operate. The town website, I believe, is outdated. This is not a place to go if you're looking for town updates. The last meeting minutes listed for the Finance Committee are from 2016. Unless I'm mistaken, that's a long time. This is just one example. Information should be available in hours, not years. It should be accurate, informative, and not lead to dead ends. It should be a place where information can be found and processes understood, a place where people can educate themselves. I'm grateful we have top-notch safety complex, and I support the efforts of police, fire, and ambulance. I have nothing but the greatest respect for the difficulty of the job they do. We should also have and support similar facilities of our schools and town offices. The DPW has also done an excellent job of updating our roads as they are able. More is always needed on the roads, but we take what we can get. Our parks need improvements. There has been discussion of liability concerns by using volunteers for maintaining parks. This needs to change. The town has many people who volunteer their time. GAA is all volunteers. The Booster Club, every club in schools, the GMPA, as well as the board of Gcam, all made up of volunteers. Other towns utilize the energy of volunteers. It is time that Granby did the same. If there are no volunteers, there are no sports, there are no music programs, and the list goes on. I am committed to our schools, not because I have students here, but because a strong school system makes a town better, it improves property values, it brings new families. We have great teachers, and they and the students deserve a school they can be proud of. I will ask the hard questions, and I will share the answers. My decision to run for select board is not taken lightly. This is a commitment I am prepared for and willing to make. Should I have the opportunity, I will do it to the best of my ability. And I humbly ask for your vote for select board. Thank you.
Next, Nathaniel Massey, Morgan Street. Nathaniel?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nathaniel Massey. Before I talk platform, I think it's important to tell you what I'm not. I'm not here because I think someone is doing a bad job that I can do better. I'm not here because some friends really want something pushed through. And I'm not here to make false promises or guarantee that I can do X, Y, and Z. And I'm certainly not here to simply tell people what they want to hear. I'm a history and political science major at university, and I thought, what better way to do political science than get involved in town government? I firmly believe that those elected in representative government have a responsibility to the people that voted them in. That responsibility extends, but is not limited to, sitting down and actually listening to what people have to say and acting accordingly. That is something I can most definitely do. I have certain values and morals that I'm unwavering on, and I don't hide that. And I don't think that's a bad thing. That being said, so long as what people are asking me to do does not butt heads with those values, then you truly have my word that I will listen to yours. And that is my platform. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Last candidate, Micheline Church.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the Lions Club for organizing this event and giving the town an opportunity to see and speak with each candidate attending. Also for Gcam for recording this event for the town members who aren't able to attend. As you know, my name is Micheline Turgeon. I am running for Board of Selectmen. I'm very pleased to be here with the other candidates. The question everyone has, why am I running for office? I'm running for office to help build a strong foundation for the future of Granby. Over the next several years, the town will be having many changes in town departments due to retirements. I want to make sure the future department heads will have the best interest in the town. A little bit about me. I was raised and established in Granby for 52 years. I've gone through the school system, worked on many departments, committees throughout my whole life. During my lifespan here, I acquired various certifications, degrees, and finally obtained a master's degree in public administration. In my early years of community service, I've umpired Little League softball, I coached soccer, Saturday mornings, all while in high school. I served as an elected official for Parks and Rec Department, and later served 6 years on the Board of Health as the health inspector. I joined the Granby Fire Department volunteer call force in 1993 and was active until 2000. Then I started the city of Westfield as a firefighter paramedic for the next 20 years. In 2020, I returned to the Granby Fire Department where I've been working full-time as a firefighter paramedic. During this time, I was fortunate to be appointed interim fire chief for 7 months. I plan on remaining on the force and retiring from this great department. I also held positions on the Charter Day Committee for 15 years as co-chair for 7 of those years. Also chaired the 250th Celebration Committee for 4 years until I stepped down both organizations in 2018. I am also presently on the West Street Building Committee Communication. I feel that it's important to keep communications open so that town members can make an informed decision. Keeping the communication open creates a better outlook for the town's future when everyone is informed. It's important and respectful to take time to listen to the residents of Granby. Being open-minded and understanding of legal responsibilities, I will be working for all residents of Granby. We are a farming community. I would like to keep it a farming community, but with future amenities. We can still invite new businesses to town. There's still plenty of room in the business district. By trying to upgrade the infrastructure, like i.e. the water system, sewage system, technology support, it engages businesses to look at Granby as a destination for their company. I've been talking about our future. I would also like to talk about our past, our town history. It's exciting and interesting to know how the town started, how we got our government organized, and to know where we are today. Preserving history helps us have a better understanding of where we come from and serves as a guide for our future endeavors. In closing, I feel deeply rooted, dedicated to the town. Dedicated to town will allow me to serve with pride and assist to our community. As the great late President Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln stated, whatever you are, be a good one. Thank you.
Next on the ballot, we have a candidate for re-election to the Board of Assessors, and that is Dakota Richards.
Good evening, Granby.
I want to thank the Lions Club for hosting this event this evening. I think it's a great event to offer to our residents so they get to know the people running for public office and also more of a background for who they are. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Dakota Richards. I am one of the assessors in town, and I'm also one of the chair of our Board of Assessors. I'm running for re-election of my seat for another 3-year term. I've prepared a statement for you guys this evening to give more detailed background as what I do for what I do as an assessor and also our office. The assessors are required to value all real property at market value based on the sales for the past 2 years. The assessors value every property from single-family residences to large commercial and industrial enterprises. In order to complete these tasks, we perform this work with a staff of 1 in our office and 3 assessors. We also hire on a consultant firm approved by the state and also a approved appraisal firm. Every 3 years, property values are submitted to the Department of Revenue for certification. Every 5 years, the assessor's office has a more in-depth recertification process for our values with the State Department of Revenue. We must maintain these values in the years between certifications. This is done so that each taxpayer in the community pays his or her fair share of cost of local government, no more, no less, in proportion to the amount of money the property is worth. We have a responsibility for the motor vehicle excise tax as well. The tax bills are originated from the State Registry Department of Motor Vehicles. We grant abatements and answer any questions regarding excise taxes. Our office handles cyclical inspections every 7 to 10 years required by the common law. This requires us to visit the properties, update our property record cards, and make sure they're accurate. Inspections are typically done in the spring and fall of each year. The assessors have a major role in promoting effective financial management in our community. By keeping values at market standard, we assist in maximizing resources available to fund municipal services expected by the residents. Property taxes are one of the major sources of funding for our community services enjoyed by the taxpayers, schools for their children, fire and police protection, and upkeep of roads, just to name a few. I am running as an assessor for re-election, and I respectfully ask for your vote on Monday, May 20th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Dakota. Next on the ballot is a candidate for re-election to the Board of Health for a 3-year term, and that candidate is Lee Lawn, who could not make it this evening, and I'll just share a brief statement he given to me. Thank you for the invitation to your event. However, due to a long-standing commitment, I'm regretfully unable to attend. I've had the honor to serve as a member of the Granby Board of Health since 1994. I'm looking forward to another 3-year term. As always, I encourage any and all questions or comments so that I may continue to keep the town in my capacity. And that's a thank you from Lee Lalonde. Next, we have a candidate for re-election to a 3-year term as our town moderator, Lynn Snowbeck Mercier.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Snowbeck Mercier, and I am running uncontested for town moderator. So what I will do tonight is give you a little information about what the town moderator does and some things that I have done as the current moderator. A town moderator's job is to run our town meetings, both the special meetings and the annual town meetings, and to keep it flowing by calling for motions and discussions, to administer and declare votes, and to do this while maintaining an open and respectful environment. Town meeting is the legislative process, the legislative branch, rather, of our local government. Our town meetings are open, so every voter in Granby has a chance to voice their opinions and directly affect change in our community. One of the main purposes, in fact, of an open town meeting is to ensure that all voters have a forum to ask questions and express their opinions before a vote is administered and declared by the moderator. A town moderator should be impartial and also has to follow the Massachusetts laws as well as the Granby bylaws for town meetings. I have been your town moderator now for 13 years. Time flies. I've implemented many new things in this office, including developing a town meeting procedure pamphlet, which you all receive when we have town meetings. And it's also on our Granby website. And what that pamphlet does for you is it explains the procedures of town meeting and the parliamentary procedures that you need to follow if you want to talk or make a change at town meeting. I've also developed an amendment worksheet, which is handed out at town meetings. And that amendment worksheet allows you on the floor to make amendments to any motions that are coming forth. I also started looking at electronic voting, which we used a few times, but it wasn't cost effective for Granby or efficient time-wise for Granby to actually buy a system. So the intention is to use electronic voting when we have large meetings or contentious issues. But other than that, we will stay with our normal voice voting. I also have implemented a consent agenda. And what that does for the public is it lumps articles that aren't contentious, that are run-of-the-mill articles that historically pass overwhelmingly into one consent agenda. So instead of voting on each of those articles individually and taking up time, we vote it as a block. And it helps us speed up our annual town meetings. Also, since I've started as a moderator, I most recently have had the honor to be asked to be on the board of directors for the Massachusetts Moderators Association, as well as a member of their education committee. And that committee provides pamphlets and products for schools to teach our local high schoolers about town meeting and how important it is and what the legislative process is for their towns. The bottom line is I enjoy giving back to the community, and I hope that with your vote, I am able to continue doing this job for you. Thank you.
Next, we have a candidate for re-election to a 3-year term as a town tax collector, and I'd like to welcome Nicole Menard. You all see you when you pay your taxes.
Maybe you all saw me today, since today was the due date. Hello, I am Nicole Menard, and I'm coming to the end of my first term as the collector. I started working in the town of Granby in 2018, actually in the assessor's office, and happy to report the collector's job is, just as rewarding, we'll say. I raised my 3 kids here. I grew up here. I love this town. I actually really enjoy that my job is elected, to know that you guys can put me here and you really are my bosses. So I hope for your votes on May 20th. And if you ever have any questions, call, come into our office, emails. I will try and return them as quick as I can. I think that's all I have, but thank you all.
Thank you, Nicole. Next, the candidate for re-election for 3-year term as our town treasurer, Stephan.
Thanks, Jim. First, I want to thank everyone in the audience here for coming out tonight. This is so important, and it demonstrates that we are all involved in our local government. And I guess you won the pool, Jim. You had to fill the auditorium, Jim. So that's terrific. Second, I want to thank the Lions Club for hosting this event. The work that they do is tremendous and certainly worthy of their support. I am running for re-election for 1 more term as treasurer. I moved into town in 1990, so July 1st I'll be here for 34 years. And according to Jim, I'm still a newbie. I have served many capacities in the town over the past 34 years as a building commissioner and served on multiple committees and boards. I've been the treasurer for nearly 20 years at this point in time, and I've decided to run for one particular reason. First, we are, as was mentioned by Ms. Sturgeon, we're faced with could be a crisis in our local government. We have many long-standing positions that will be vacant in the near future. We need a little continuity to get us through this period. And I don't want to be part of the problem, I want to be part of the solution in getting us through this transitory position. But I want to thank you all for your support, and thank the Lions Club and the everyone here, especially the Arts. I'm truly inspired by everyone here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Next, we go to the category of the Housing Authority. We have a candidate, Joe Feria, for a 5-year term as a candidate for re-election. And unfortunately, Joe could not make this evening, but I have a statement from him about the Housing Authority. As a candidate for re-election to the Granby Housing Authority Board, I remain committed to the mission of the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. This group was formed in 2023 as a result of the Affordable Homes Act, an initiative of Governor Healey's to increase the production of affordable homes in the Commonwealth, and includes all state-aided public housing. Commonwealth of Massachusetts is one of only 4 states that funds public housing in addition to federal aid given to each state in the form of a block grant. The Granby Housing Authority has no federally funded rental units. The Granby Housing Authority currently has 56 one-bedroom units located at Fence Hill, and 12 family housing units located off Amherst Road. Preference is given to town residents, veterans, and persons who work in town, either for the town or for a private company. There are no income limits. The Granby Housing Authority Board has limited power. We can set policy and hire the executive director. We cannot interfere with the daily operations of the Housing Authority. That is the responsibility of the executive director. I currently serve as the chairman. Granby Housing Authority Board elects officers annually. As a candidate for re-election, I bring experience and continuity to the division. I remain deeply committed to the Penn Hill community. All of us deserve a decent place to live that is affordable. The residents of Penn Hill and families living on Amherst Street are beneficiaries of the Commonwealth's commitment to affordable housing for all. As caretakers of that commitment, the Granby Housing Board provides oversight through the policies of the board in conjunction with the financial commitment of the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Community. I serve not because of political aspirations, but out of a sense of responsibility. Next, we have 2 candidates, 2 candidates on the ballot, and a writing candidate for a 4-year unexpired term of the Housing Authority. First, Ron Richards.
I'm Ron Richard, and I've lived half my life in Granby. Been a resident of Fence Hill for almost 10 years. I've also been a Granby police officer and a volunteer in town, and I've been a supervisor for 2 graphic arts companies totaling over 40 years. I understand how to interact with people and how to get along with them, and I care about Fence Hill because I live there, and I care about the people who live there. And I believe in being fair and hearing both sides of an argument and working to find a solution. And most importantly, to treat others the way that I want to be treated. Thank you.
Ron? The next candidate on the ballot for the Housing Authority 4-year term is Douglas Smith.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. It's been a wonderful event for the town of Granby, and everyone seems pleased that we're getting an opportunity to meet candidates. I'm a new candidate for office, and I have been a town resident for 6 years. And I've been a business owner and renovation contractor, so I have fundamental knowledge of what goes on with housing and housing repairs and so forth. I appreciate your vote for Housing Authority, and it's will serve the town. Thank you.
The clerk has received notice of a writing candidate for this 4-year term. That is Dakota Richards.
Good evening again. I'm running for a writing candidate for the Housing Authority Commissioner seat, 4-year unexpired term. The Granby Housing Authority, or GHA, owns and maintains 56 state-subsidized elderly and handicap apartments at Finns Hill Manor, across from Granby Grain on 202, and 12 state-subsidized family apartments at Hillside Heights on Amherst Street. The Granby Housing Authority's mission is to provide safe, clean, and well-maintained housing for low-income to moderate-income seniors, disabled adults, veterans, families. GHA is committed to fair, non-discriminatory policies, practices throughout its housing programs and activities. Housing commissioners are the governing body of the Housing Authority, and they must work closely with the executive director and local officials. They also communicate with community regarding their needs, concerns, and successes. Via the leadership, the commissioners enable the housing agency to fulfill its mission to provide affordable, safe, sanitary housing in a sustainable, thriving community. Why am I running for the Housing Authority Commissioner seat, you ask? Public housing has been a part of my career for some time now. In my experience and knowledge, I am running to be a member of the 5-person board because I believe housing is a foundation for everyone's personal, physical, emotional safety and well-being. I'm committed to helping serve the community of people, our friends and neighbors, who are served by the Granby's public housing. I am running as a writing candidate and would appreciate your vote on May 20th. Thank you.
Next on the ballot is a 5-year term on the planning board. We had a candidate for re-election, that is Tim Tromke from Taylor Street. Unfortunately, was not able to make this evening and was not able to get a statement to us. Next, we have a 3-year term on the school committee. We have a candidate for re-election, and that is Jennifer Bartos.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Bartos. I'm born and raised in Granby. I'm a class of 92 graduate from next door. Graduate. My senior superlative was done most for Granby High. And apparently I took that literally because here I am, working tirelessly for both schools. This will be my 3rd term if elected. It's a lot to understand how being such a large part of the town budget puts demands and stresses on everyone, but we're doing the best that we can. We should all be incredibly proud of what our staff and students do in both schools. It's incredible to see the acceptances come in for colleges at this time of year. Our students are getting accepted and getting really great academic scholarships. Our younger students are doing amazing things. We had a 4th grade student design the dinosaur that sits out front because they wanted to make sure that people everywhere felt welcome here in Granby, especially in our schools. And I'm proud of the work that we do, and I'm proud to represent you all on the school committee. Thank you.
There's another 3-year term on the school committee, and we just found out yesterday that we have a write-in candidate. That she could not make it, but she has given me a statement. And this is from Jill Pelerde. Dear members of the Granby community, thank you for this opportunity for me to announce my candidacy as a write-in for the re-election to the school committee. Serving on the school committee over the past term has been a privilege, as I am very passionate about my work with students and work within this community. During my time on the committee, we have worked on advancing our school's strategic goals, providing high-quality educational opportunities to all students. Some of this work has been supported through faculty and staff pursuing competitive grants and creatively working within the budget to identify areas where unique opportunities can be afforded to all students. We have continued to work collaboratively to ensure that our schools are safe, inclusive, and nurturing environments where all students can thrive. I'm proud of the work we've achieved together. However, there's still much work to be done. My goal, if reelected, would be to support the school system during this time of transition, not only due to a changing committee, but due to changes in leadership roles within the district so that we can continue to move forward in a positive direction. Thank you for considering me as a candidate. I appreciate any of your support and your vote in the upcoming election. Sincerely, thank you, Jill Pelletier. Next, we have one candidate for re-election for a 3-year term as Commissioner of Pelerde. Lord Landry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gordon Landry. I'm running for re-election for Burial Ground Commissioner. I'm completing my 8th term. I started in 2000. I started in '99 filling a vacant spot due to illness, and I was voted in May of 2000 to my first term. Some of the duties most important duties we do was upkeep of the grounds, maintenance of the grounds and the equipment, working with funeral directors and families, selling lots, and coordinating times and dates for interments when the time comes for family and loved ones. So I appreciate your support. May 20th for continue this journey. I enjoy supporting the town and doing the service that I'm doing. Thanks.
Thank you, Lord. Last on the ballot is the library trustees, and we have one candidate for re-election for a 3-year term, and that is Denise Ki.
Hello, everybody. My name is Denise Ki, and I'm running for 2nd term as a library trustee. I've lived in Granby for approximately 55 years and have been involved with the library for almost as long. First as a patron, because I love to read. Then I joined the Friends when it was formed, the Friends group, when it was formed back in 1981. I became a trustee 3 years ago, and I volunteer at the library a couple of days a week for a few hours each day. As a trustee, one supports and advocates for the many services and programs offered through the library, and this is important to me as I believe these things bring the community together. We are fortunate to have such a beautiful library here in town, run by a great staff, and it would be a privilege to be elected again as a trustee. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. There are 2 other 3-year terms on the library trustee, and there are 2 writing candidates that are applying for that position. Neither of them could make it this evening or Stephan, and those 2 writing candidates will be Jennifer Vale Chauvin and Bernadette Archambault. That completes the ballot that you'll be seeing in a few weeks. I hope you found this evening informative, and I think we would now like a round of applause for all the candidates who spoke this evening. Well done. We have some refreshments, water, lemonade in the back. Please help yourself and visit with some of the candidates if you have particular questions. Thank you very much.